Hi there, English 101 students. We're going to cover the third essay, your synthesis essay, and the instructions that accompany this essay. So to begin with, we're just going to go over some of the paragraphs. First paragraph, the body paragraphs, and maybe your conclusion, and just a few things you want to keep in mind. So for your first paragraph, I want you to be very specific. Focus on a specific form of social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever that form might be. You can also focus on a specific smartphone, whether that's Samsung or iPhone, whatever one you choose. Okay? Make sure that you keep referring to that specific form of social media or smartphone throughout your entire essay. Avoid talking about technology. Avoid writing about social media as a whole. Okay? YouTube is different from Facebook, is different from Twitter. So if you start generalizing, your essay starts to get less convincing. Provide some background or definition to set the scope of your essay. Whether that background might be when Facebook was, invented, or what Facebook even is. Okay. Introduce an outside source to frame your thesis. Now, the outside source will be coming from the sources that you were required to read for the synthesis unit. Okay, you can introduce an idea from one of the sources, and that helps your thesis statement. How does it help your thesis statement? Because you want to, in a sense, argue against what that source says, or at least build upon what that source says. What did this source overlook? Okay. Provide your thesis statement next. Use a subordinate conjunction and reasons to support your claim. The subordinate conjunction will be the words although, even though, while, or though. Okay? So although critic X argues Y about Facebook, a better argument is Z because, and then provide some reasons why your argument is better. Okay? Or why you're building upon what someone else said. You then want to provide a roadmap to the rest of your essay. In other words, what elements or what facets of Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or iPhone are you going to specifically examine? You might want to say, first, we will look at the use of Facebook Live. Second, we will examine Facebook groups, whatever that might be. All right, just so the reader has an idea of where your essay is heading. You then want to say why your argument is important. Okay, by looking at these facets of Facebook, we can conclude something, something, something. All right, so the body paragraphs. Now, this essay should be 3 pages long, and I would imagine you'll probably have 4 or 5 body paragraphs. Each topic sentence should, to a certain extent, refer to your thesis or your roadmap, okay? So if you introduce in your roadmap Facebook Live, make sure your second paragraph is about Facebook Live, okay? Provide specific examples from the sources or from social media or the iPhone specifically, all right? You want to synthesize those sources into your paper, okay? So if you're going to discuss Facebook Live, look at Facebook Live on Facebook. What does it do? Okay? And then integrate sources that we read for this unit. Remember the Oreo method. Now, the Oreo method simply means do not begin or end a paragraph in someone else's words. The first part of the paragraph is your topic sentence. That is your sentence. The final sentence of a paragraph is a transition to the next sentence or the next paragraph. Don't use someone else's words as a topic sentence. Make sure that that paragraph belongs to you. Correctly introduce each quote by using an acknowledgement phrase. So, for example, Dickinson notes or Smith states. Okay? Analyze each quote. If you're going to introduce a quote, analyze its significance. Why are you bringing it in? Avoid saying this shows and then simply summarizing what the quote says. Make sure you analyze it. Your conclusion is basically wrapping up your argument. All right. Summarize the main points and why it's significant. Restate your thesis perhaps in different words. Emphasize why your claims matter. And then what can we do from here? Okay? What should we do? What should we learn from your paper? Some things you might want to consider. Use only the articles that we covered in class during the synthesis unit. Do not incorporate any outside research. You'll lose points. Okay? That's extremely important. Avoid you and contractions, just like every other essay we've had to write this semester. Avoid I. You need to be objective here. Okay? So avoid personal experience. Look at it from an objective point of view. Be specific in your analysis. So if you're looking at Facebook, for example, break it down into specific categories and analyze them. So for example, looking at Facebook groups, Facebook Live, or Facebook events. If you're going to look at a smartphone, maybe the apps that are included, the smartphone's GPS function, or the notifications and how those notifications can be distracting. Okay? So if you have any questions, please shoot me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much.